I'm not really one for rules per se. I seek to embody this archetype that I call the sacred outlaw because I believe that serving society is very different from serving the whole. Some of society's rules need to be broken, and there are universal laws that should never be broken. And I think a big part of life is about finding the balance of what rules do I need to honor and what rules are made to be broken. And I am in a phase right now where I'm really seeking to build the next phase of my life. I have done the work on my heart. I'm soft, I'm opening, and now it is time to manifest, to create. And as I do that, I'm coming across so many different systems, so many different teachings, so many different ways of having the life of my dreams. And I'm trying to balance those things with an understanding that I don't know exactly what my highest expression is. I am here to be a divine vessel for God's will. And I believe that I also have the power to have prosperity, to have nice cars and beautiful houses and cool vacations. And I think both of those can be true. But it's very easy to get carried away. In the Gene Keys system, there's this pathway called the pathway of growth. And it's the one place in the system where you can leverage the rules of the universe regardless of where your frequency is. In other words, you can grow as a means to accumulate more stuff. You can grow for the sake of growth instead of for the sake of service. And I know that what comes at the end of that is everything falling apart. It works until it doesn't work. And I know because I had it happen to me. And this time I am seeking guidelines, and that's what I'm going to call these. This is 5 guidelines that I found in a book that I'm reading right now called Braiding Sweetgrass that I really, really love. And these guidelines are what are called the honorable harvest. And so it has to do with going and harvesting plants, things like sweetgrass or crops like corn or potatoes. But I'm going to translate it over to life. So rule number 1 is never take more than half. This is such a biggie. We have the tendency as humans to get sucked into the shadow of greed for just wanting more. And if you really take a look at why you want more, on a deep level, it creates a sense of safety. If I accumulate more resources in my world, if something were to go wrong, I've got this stockpile that I can fall back on. The issue is that stockpile can go up in flames in a heartbeat. And so by taking more than half and trying to hoard, what we're doing is developing wealth. And wealth is sticky. Wealth interrupts a flow. Nature abhors a vacuum. So in order to call in the things that we want, we've got to empty out the things that we have. The stuff that we take in is designed to be gifted back out in service of the whole. So by never taking more than half, we have this ability to maintain this sense of balance, to maintain this sense of flow, and it puts this deep human hunger that is genetically programmed into it, and you're not wrong for having it. We all have it. But we need to be aware that we have it. We need to be able to work with it on a deep level and use it. And one way to do that is to never take more than half. The second is never take the first. I cannot tell you how many times I have hopped on a call with somebody who is interested in working with me. And in the past, I have done and said whatever I needed to do and say to get that person to say yes to me. Because I feel like I needed the work, I needed the money, I needed the win, I needed ... And as I've worked with other individuals, I see this pattern over and over again as like, I'm just not sure that it's going to work. I'm not sure that there's going to be more people. So I need to make sure that this person that reached out to me right out of the gate is somebody that I get. But if you go into it with that mentality, if you go into things, and it's not just with people, right? It can also be with going shopping for something. It can also be a partner in your life, or a relationship. If you're going into the mindset with like, trying to get what's there instead of evaluating what is around. And that's the key, is when I sit down in an appointment with somebody, I'm evaluating. I need to remember, is this person right for me? Right? It's both. Like, yeah, the person is talking to me to learn about me, but I'm talking to them so that I can learn about them, so that I make sure that it's a fit, so that I make sure that our energy aligns. I can let go of this need to have a win, to have this person be in the thing just because they're in front of me. So never taking the first is just a reminder that we're gonna have what we need. That I don't need to constantly grab everything that I see, that I can wait for the right one instead of the first one. The third is to ask permission. So as we are trying to create the life of our dreams, it is very easy to get carried away and to use the things around us for whatever we see fit. But so often we forget that everything in the universe is connected. Everything in the universe is animated, meaning it has a sense of spirit. And if it has a sense of spirit, even something, like this coffee, or of course plants, or even I'm reading another book right now called American Gods by Neil Gaiman, one of my favorite authors. And in that book, he talks about anything that is being sacrificed to takes on the role of a god. And so in American Gods, alcohol is one of the gods. Tobacco, one of the gods. Actually, I can't remember if tobacco is. Maybe take that one back. Internet, one of the gods, right? Anything that we are sacrificing ourselves to. In another book, Reality Transurfing, that I recently talked about, he calls this a pendulum. We're giving over energy to this force that is bigger than ourselves. And if everything is animated and we're just taking, how do you think that animated force is going to respond? It's probably going to do something to put you in your place, to help you to see that you are not all that is here. And so asking permission from God, which I believe is a part of you, but it's a higher part of you. You've got to speak. You've got to have a relationship with that part of you. Asking other people in your world for permission. Is it okay with you if I do this thing? And that doesn't mean that if they say no, that you don't do it. Remember, sacred outlaw, we're breaking laws sometimes, but you've got to use your discernment in that process. It's really challenging moving through life guessing all the time. Much easier to just ask, is it okay if I do this thing? And still, sometimes we don't ask, right? We beg for forgiveness instead of asking permission. One thing that I learned that's really helpful is when you have wisdom that you want to share with somebody, asking their permission. Is it okay if I share this wisdom? I'm sensing something, I'm seeing something, and I want to tell you, but I need you to be ready. I need you to allow me to bring it to you. Permission is so important. And then also asking permission of the spirits that are around you. Life is a great chain that is designed to be honored. We stand on the shoulders of those who came before us, and we will be there so that those can come after can stand upon us. And in that way, we grow and evolve. But we've got to remember that chain. We've got to honor it, venerate it, and that means asking permission. Number 4 is leave an offering. If we are taking something, we must also leave something in return. So I've started carrying around a bag of mapacho, of sacred tobacco. And I just keep it in my truck. And when I am driving over rivers or seeing big, beautiful oak trees, I will stop and I will make an offering to the land that has nurtured me, that has supported me. And the same is true for the energies that support me. So if I get a big energy inflow, meaning, in this case, somebody decides to work with me, they decide to give me money for some way, shape, or form, I am going to give an offering. So I don't make a big deal about this, but 10% of everything that I take in goes back out. Consider it like a tithe if you want to put it in church terms, but it doesn't go to a church. It goes to wherever I want it to go. And I think that offering, that is a sign to the universe that you are here to be of service to the whole. That is the grail question, is how can I be of the greatest service to the whole? And the universe knows if you're giving freely, if you're leaving an offering in gratitude, that you're ready for something. Not only that, but your frequency is going to be so much higher. It feels so good to give, to offer back to things. And so if we offer in gratitude, we connect to that frequency and it raises up. And the way that the law of attraction works is that we attract things that match our inner frequency. That's why we've got to put ourselves in that state, put our emotion, like you're either longing for something or you're living in the world where you already have it. And if you are giving offerings, your frequency is going to be so much higher, and it's going to be so much more likely that these things are actually going to manifest. That's why I'm telling you these rules and these guidelines is, yes, they serve the whole, but they also serve you. It's what's going to allow you to create the life that you want. These are, I often talk about the banks of the river, right? That provides guidelines, barriers, and then the river that the energy can flow through. These are the banks. This is the support structure that allows that energy to create, to manifest in your life. And then lastly is speak for them. And in this case, it meant speaking for the plants. Right? Going to environmental conservation meetings, talking out loud about how important it is that we maintain the sanctity of our land. But also speak for them relates to speak for people that cannot speak for themselves. Speak for people that have not been able to find this wisdom yet for one reason or another. Speak for those who have been stepped on over and over and over again. A huge part of the reason that I do the work that I do is because I believe that it takes a critical mass of us doing what our hearts are called to do in order to clean up humanity, in order to allow everyone, those that have been oppressed for so long, to be able to do the work of their heart. Like, what a gift it is to even be able to think about this stuff. I don't think we realize like what a journey we've had to go through and what a journey we've been on to get to a lifetime that we have the ability to think about our spirituality instead of just our survival. Don't waste it. So speak for them. Speak up. Choose somebody to serve and serve them. Help them. Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing this work. I've got a call this Thursday, just in a couple of days. If you're watching this within a day or two of this coming out, it's free. I call it a wisdom call. I get on, I talk about stuff, I answer your questions. A large part of it is in the gene keys, but I'm trying to branch out. I hope you guys can see I'm constantly taking in all sorts of different stuff. And the depth of wisdom that I hold is deep. And now I've got to do the work on how do I communicate it so that it resonates. We're working on that part. But thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Until next time.